Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we're going to talk about preventing plumbing problems during the holidays, and we'd like to thank Lulu B for liking and sharing the podcast. We'd also like to thank Podcast Guru for featuring us on their podcast app. It's a free podcast app that you can download on the Apple or Google Play Store, and they don't have banner ads. The app gives recommendations. You can browse and search by topics or categories, and it's called Podcast Guru. It's PODCAST, capital GURU. The United Association of Plumbers was founded in 1889, and at the time there weren't safety codes, and the trades were considered very dangerous jobs, so the organization helped put safety standards in place. Pipe, for the most part, was cut by hand, trenches were dug by hand, and pipe was lowered in place manually for most projects. And then drain pipe was connected and then sealed with oakum, and melted lead was poured into the joint to seal it. The normal work week at the time was 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, for 36 cents an hour.
Wow.
This week we have some tips to help prevent plumbing problems during the holidays. We spoke to Benjamin Franklin Plumbing about some common problems. They say avoid putting large bones into a garbage disposal. Potato peels, banana peels, and other starchy foods can create a paste that can clog a disposal or your drain pipe. Coffee grounds and eggshells accumulate in drain pipe and can cause a clog. Don't put grease or fats into a garbage disposal. It will coat the inside of the pipes and cause a blockage, and it contributes to odor in your garbage disposal. Celery, asparagus, and other fibrous vegetables can tangle around the impellers and clog the openings in the grind ring. Pasta and rice... Impellers, or they're called lugs, so the spinning things inside.
So it's not blades?
No, they don't have blades. They have these pieces.
Is that kind of dangerous?
Right. Well, it's all dangerous inside there. You wouldn't want to put your hand in there.
Well, of course.
But these little spinning lugs, these pieces of metal, smash the food against the sides of the inside the unit, and it grinds up your food and pushes it through small holes so that it drains. So they don't recommend putting pasta or rice into your garbage disposal because it can slow or clog the drains. But small bones from chicken and fish are okay for a garbage disposal because it helps scour the inside of the unit and helps keep water flowing.
Like ice cubes?
Right, and ice cubes are good too. They recommend scraping off your plates into the garbage when you're done eating and just rinse off small food particles into the disposer. And each unit is unique, so check your manual on what items your disposal can handle.
Right.
InSinkErator has some tips for garbage disposals. They say turn on the cold water before you turn on your disposal. Then allow cold water to run for a few seconds after grinding is complete to help flush the drain pipe. Grinding small bones, fruit pits, and ice creates a scouring action to clean the inside of the grind chamber. They say don't pour grease or fat into a disposal or any drain. It's going to build up in your pipes and cause a blockage. Pour your grease in a jar and dispose of it in the trash. Don't use hot water when you're grinding foods. Feed vegetable peels slowly into a disposal to help prevent a clog. Don't grind eggshells and fibrous material like corn husks or artichokes to avoid a clog. Allow your disposal to completely grind the food, then run it a few seconds longer with the water running to flush out all the particles.
Right. You could tell when it's empty.
Right, yeah, the sound completely changes.
That's what I mean.
Exactly.
Thank you for verifying my answer.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing says an easy way to keep your garbage disposal clean and smelling fresh is to routinely grind up a handful of ice cubes As the lugs or the impellers grind the ice, it removes food particles and cleans the inside of the unit. And run cold water while you're grinding the ice. Once it's ground up, they then recommend putting some lemon or orange peels into the garbage disposal. Incinerator also recommends a small amount of citrus peels to freshen up a disposal, but too much can actually cause a clog.
Tricky.
Whirlpool and KitchenAid recommend a fresh disposal cleaner, and a fresh is AFFRESH. CLR has a garbage disposal cleaner, and it's just the letters C, L, and R. Robic, it's ROEBIC, has a garbage disposal cleaner that uses bacteria to clean the disposal. It breaks down grease and fats, and it also breaks down fats and oils down the drain to help keep your drain open.
You sounded kind of excited about that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool way to keep it clean. If your disposal stops working as it's grinding or it won't turn on, you might have tripped the circuit breaker in the service panel or the internal breaker. So check the reset button on the bottom of the disposal first. Usually it's going to be a red button. Make sure the power is off, press in the button, and then turn on the power. If it doesn't turn on, then check your circuit breaker. If the unit is humming but water isn't draining, food is usually jammed inside the unit. So you'll turn off the disposal and use the tool that came with it to clear the jam. Under the unit, there's a hex-shaped opening that fits a 1/4-inch Allen wrench. So turn the wrench that came with your disposal or an Allen wrench in both directions to free up food that's caught in the impellers. When you're cooking food that leaves a lot of grease or oil in a pan, you should never pour it down the drain or flush it down the toilet because it can cling to the drain pipes and eventually slow or clog your drains. After the pans cool down a little bit, pour the grease into a glass jar like a spaghetti sauce or a salsa jar and then cover it with a lid and throw it out.
Right.
Or you can just keep that jar and fill it up over time and throw it out.
That's gross, though.
Well, you can keep it under your kitchen sink so it's out of sight. You should scrape off plates or bowls with food into the garbage and use a paper towel to wipe off grease and oils. When you use hot water and soap to rinse off grease, oil, and fats, it melts it, but then as it goes down the drain, it cools off and it sticks to the inside of your drain pipe. Use a sink strainer in your kitchen sink to catch large food particles before they go down the drain. You can also purchase a strainer for a bathroom sink and the tub and the shower to limit the amount of hair that goes down the drain.
Okay.
If you have a slow or clogged kitchen sink drain, you can remove the trap and see if the blockage is there. If it's not there, you can remove the trap and the wall tube and use a hand crank drain snake to break loose a clog. They're inexpensive and it's a good basic tool to have around the house. You can also use a cup-style plunger for the kitchen sink. If you have a double bowl, you would cover one drain opening with a wet rag and then push down and pull up fast with the cup plunger, and that's going to help loosen a clog by moving it back and forth. For a fully clogged kitchen drain, if you want to use a chemical, get a non-acid opener.
All right.
Products that use a base rather than an acid are easier to work with because you don't have to remove the water. Drain cleaners that use a base like Liquid Plumber and Drano are heavier than water, so they work their way down to the clog to sit there and break it up.
Right.
Odie makes a product called Glug. It's Glug. It's a liquid drain opener for kitchen drains. It's a base that pours through standing water to dissolve grease and food, and it has a deodorizer to eliminate smells. And you never want to put a drain opener in a garbage disposal.
Right. How do you use it?
So for most of these types of products, the liquid drain openers that are a base, you want to wear goggles and gloves, even though it's not an acid.
Right.
It's very caustic. You would pour about 8 ounces of a liquid drain cleaner into your sink. You're going to wait 30 minutes. If it breaks it up, then you'd flush it with hot water. If 8 ounces doesn't break open the clog, you would add another 8 ounces and allow it to sit overnight, and then you would flush it with hot water. These types of drain openers that use a base are safe in all drain pipe except aluminum pipe. If you have a bathroom sink that's slow or clogged, the first thing you should check is the stopper. So you can pull it out and see if there's a buildup of hair and soap and toothpaste and things right on that. If you have a pop-up stopper where you have a knob behind the faucet that you're pulling up and down, you would go under the sink and unscrew the nut that's connected to a rod that moves the stopper up and down. You'll pull out the rod, and then you can pull out the stopper. If the stopper isn't the problem, then you would put that back in. Then you can check the trap by removing it and see if the clog is there. If it's not there, you can remove the trap and the wall tube and use a hand crank drain snake to break up a clog further down. There's a product called Brody Power Flow. It's BRODI, and then Power Flow is POWER capital FLO. It's a drain cleaner that uses compressed gas. So it has this compressed gas in a can. You just pull out your stopper. You have to have water in the sink for this to work. And then you line up the opening in the cap to the drain opening, and you push it down for 1 second, and it sends a shock wave of this compressed gas into the water, and it breaks loose many clogs. If you want to use a chemical, you can use a non-acid cleaner like Liquid Plumber or Drano, and Odie has another glug drain opener, but for bathrooms. It's formulated to dissolve hair.
Cool.
If you plan on having guests overnight and you don't want to have a slow or clogged bathroom drain, you can use a hair removal tool at the opening of the drain. The Cleveland Clinic says the average person loses 50 to 100 hairs a day, and when you're taking a shower, these hairs get caught on the crossbars at the opening of a tub drain, and they build up till they slow or clog the drain.
Right.
So you can use a hair removal tool like Zip It. It's ZIP capital IT. It's a plastic strip with barbs on the sides. You push it into the drain opening, and then you pull it back, and it pulls out the hair that gets trapped on the crossbars.
Yeah, it's gross.
And once you use a tool like this, if it's still slow, then you have hair that's caught further down the drain. So then you can use some type of liquid drain opener.
Right.
If you have kids or pets, or you just don't want to use a caustic drain opener, you can routinely use a bacteria or enzyme drain cleaner. Some top-rated cleaners come from Robic. It's ROEBIC. Unique, it's UNIQUE, and BioClean, it's BIO, capital CLEAN. And by using bacterial drain cleaners regularly, so every month, you'll slowly break down the buildup inside your traps and your drain pipe to help prevent a slow or clogged drain.
Cool.
And these are much better if you have a septic system too.
Right.
And if you've just recently moved into a home and it has a septic system and you've never had that before, you need to be careful of what you're flushing into your system and how much water you're using. So you can check out our episode called Septic System Maintenance for some tips.
Very exciting.
And if you're having a lot of people staying at your home over the holidays, you may need to have your septic tank pumped before the holidays.
Right.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing suggests checking the water shutoff valve under your toilets to make sure they work before you have guests over, in case you have to shut off quickly.
Right.
And have a toilet plunger in every bathroom in case your guest has a clog.
Yeah, that's nice.
A good plunger to have is the Corky Beehive Max Plunger, and Corky is Korky. This toilet plunger works with standard toilets and high-efficiency toilets, because it'll shape itself to whatever the shape of the opening is in the bowl. Don't flush anything down a toilet except toilet paper. Wet wipes that say they're flushable can slow down drains and cause a clog, especially when used with high-efficiency toilets because there's not enough water to flush them down the main drain properly.
Right.
And they don't break down fast enough and can cause a clog. Should never use a drain opener in a toilet. Only use a plunger or a toilet auger. If you were to pour an acid or a base drain opener into a toilet and it were to overflow, you'd have a caustic spill that would be difficult to clean up safely.
Right.
If you aren't getting a great flush in a toilet, one thing you can check if you have a flapper-style flush valve is the flapper. You only want about a 1/4 inch worth of slack on the chain. And then you also want to make sure the chain is directly over the flapper, not off at an angle. There's also adjustable flappers you can get, and you can adjust these so they stay open longer, so you get a better flush. If the flapper doesn't help the flush, many times it's not having enough water in the tank or the toilet bowl. So you can upgrade your fill valve to one that allows you to adjust the amount of water in the bowl. The Fluid Master Performax, it's PERFORMAX, and the Corky Platinum allows you to adjust the amount of water in the tank and the bowl. In the tank, you'd want water up to about a half an inch below the overflow tube, so there's enough water in the tank, and then you need to know the height of the trap in the bowl. And if you have the water in the bowl to the top of the trap, you're going to get the best flush, especially with high-efficiency toilets. And the way you would figure that out is take a 5-gallon bucket, put a couple gallons of water in it, slowly pour the water in the bowl until it stops raising, and then you're going to mark that level with a pencil. That's the height of the top of the trap, and now you're going to flush the toilet and keep adjusting the fill valve so it fills up to that line, and that's going to give you the best flush.
Exciting.
If you have a home with a sewage pump connected to your bathroom, make sure your guests know that and tell them they can't put anything except toilet paper down the toilet. Dental floss, paper towels, flushable wipes, or anything other than toilet paper can jam the impeller and cause a clog and a backup.
Yuck.
Yes. If you're going to have guests over and they're going to be taking showers, you want to make sure that your water heater's working. And to help prolong the life of your water heater, if you have a tank style, and to get better performance, especially with a gas water heater, you should be routinely draining it or flushing it. So check the manual for your model, but in general, you would turn off the gas or the electric to the tank, turn off the water valve going to the water heater, then open a hot faucet and leave it open. Connect a garden hose to the drain valve on the bottom of the water heater and run the hose to a floor drain or a 5-gallon bucket. Open the drain valve and drain out a few gallons of water. If there's a lot of sediment in the water, then you can flush the tank completely, and a 5-gallon bucket makes it easy to see what's in the water.
Oh, exciting. 5-gallon bucket.
Love the 5-gallon buckets. Once you've drained a few gallons or flushed the tank, turn off the drain valve and turn on the cold water valve going to the water heater and let it start to fill. Keep the hot faucet valve open, and that's going to purge the air from the system, and it's going to let you know when your tank is full. Once water is coming out of that hot faucet, leave it on for a few minutes to make sure all the air is out of the tank. Then you can turn back on the gas or electric. If there was little or no sediment, you can drain a few gallons out of your water heater once a year. But if there's a lot of sediment, you'd probably want to drain it every few months, but check your manual for your model.
All right.
Another tip to extend the life of your water heater is to check the water pressure. Most towns allow a maximum water pressure of up to 80 psi. But water pressure over 60 psi can damage or shorten the life of your water heater and appliances.
Really?
So you can check your home's water pressure by purchasing a pressure gauge at a hardware store or a home center. You would connect this to the outdoor hose faucet and check it throughout the day. It's usually going to be highest at night. If your water pressure is above 60 psi, you can add a pressure-reducing valve to the main water supply and then reduce it to 50 to 60 psi, and that's what many water heater companies recommend for a water heater.
Okay.
You should also have an expansion tank on the cold water leading to the water heater to reduce pressure on the inside of the tank, and that's going to also help extend its life.
Cool.
To help prevent a clog in a dishwasher, scrape off plates and bowls before you put it into the dishwasher, and then regularly check and clean off the filter if you have a dishwasher with a filtration system, because it needs to be manually cleaned to help prevent a clog. If you have a hard food disposer, it works like a garbage disposal to break up food particles, so they're a little easier to maintain. But check your manual for the maintenance for your model. And you can also check out our dishwasher episode for more tips.
Another exciting episode. Do you have anything else to add?
We'd like to thank Benjamin Franklin Plumbing for helping us with this episode, and you can check them out at benjaminfranklinplumbing.com. It's BenjaminFranklinplumbing.com. And when you're on their website, you can enter in your zip code to find a local plumber.
Nice.
We're going to have a promotion for our new ebook December 1st through December 5th on Amazon, and we'll give you the details on the next episode.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 14 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fix It Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.